Alright, I gotta give my Warhammer 40k people their fix. This is Flesh Terrors explained by an Australian. Namaste and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sending out a lot of love. If you would like to be a part of the whatever dynasty we're calling this, subscribe down below. Other than that, links down below for everything else. Let's go. Let's go.
There really isn't many good guys in the Warhammer setting. Pretty much everyone is doing some pretty questionable stuff. The Imperium are a bunch of racist fascists. The Eldar are a bunch of pretentious wankers that have caused massive problems for the galaxy, and the Tau like brainwashing people. The only real good guys are the Fireside Enclaves, but their founder uses a vampiric sword that sucks away people's life forces and then feeds them to himself. But the alternate to space Nazis, arrogant orgy lovers, and creepy blue fish people is undead robots, vicious biomass devourers, angry mushrooms, and demonic tentacles. Hence, for argument's sake, you can consider the Imperium to be the good guys. Unless we're talking about the Flesh Tearers. The Flesh Tearers are huge assholes, and if it wasn't obvious by their name, are not the kind of guys you want to invite to your tea parties.
After watching was it the Death Lords? I don't remember if it was the Death Lords. I think the Death Lords. They kind of sounded like the assholes. I can't remember if that's the name of the chapter. Correct me if I'm wrong down below if you want. But if I'm close, you probably know what I'm referring to. One sec. I'm laughing so much because I'm telling you, if you like to send me memes, this is why I say go follow my Instagram. This quick intermission. Send me memes. I also post them on my story, and I'm posting them while I'm editing videos or figuring out other things to do during my video process. And I've been getting Warhammer 40k memes now. I'm done. I can't. I've just been dying. I had to regain myself. Okay. Yeah, the Death Lords. I think that's what they were called. Or they were called the Death something. I kind of want to remember the name properly, but it just won't stick. I don't know. Let's just move forward.
In saying that though, only Warhammer could take the group of bloodthirsty psychopaths who specialize in sodomizing you with your own spine and make them a rather enjoyable and entertaining chapter of Marines who have a pretty solid, if slightly unorthodox sense of honor, led by a douchebag who you just can't help but root for. Before we get started, as a quick update about the drunk stream happening this Friday, where I'll be attempting to paint an Eldar Titan while also attempting not to pass out on camera. I got the base printed, and holy shit, it's massive. I'm still struggling with the paint scheme, because I like Craftworld Alntazar because of Margan Ra and its lore, but their paint scheme is kinda gay, and I like Ulthway's color scheme, but they're a bunch of nerds, so
their color scheme is literally just all black, and then they got like an Egyptian eye. Like they got like it looks like it's based on it, but they look really cool. I love the way they look. The other guys are kind of just. I want to kind of paint these. Oh my gosh, I would.
That's
paint
a no from me. Then I was like, aha, the Yanari. And whilst their color scheme is also a bit, it seems I can make them a bit more spooky and still get away with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. I mean, that's assuming I can paint the thing while 10 shots deep. Today we'll go over the lore and story of the Flesh Tearers, where they came from, why they like to tear flesh, and what's the deal with their legendary chapter master Gabriel Seth.
Yes, okay. Oh, I also meant to say, since I'm 2 minutes in, Major Kill, if you want me to take down my video, I do not mind. I want to make sure all creators know that. But also, Major Kill watchers, I guess that includes myself now, but not deeply. Was he successful in painting it?
Let's get
Did
into
it. Come out
it.
horrible?
I could really just say the word Flesh Tearers in a long and drawn out way, and that would sum up the chapter pretty well, but then I wouldn't get my succulent ad revenue, so I guess we're doing this the hard way. When the Big E got Stephen Hawkinged and Horace got obliterated, Gilliman stepped up to the plate and was like, "Oi, no more legions." Okay. And some of his brothers were like, but I like legions. And he was like, "No, I said no more." Hence, all the Space Marine legions were split up into 1,000-man strong chapters. Over a couple thousand years, there were various foundings to create more chapters.
I just wanted to make another quick comment. My video, what am I talking about? I'm saying my bad. Listen, these guys kind of look like them right there in that scene.
Some of these chapters were pretty cool and created solid space marines. Others were sad and shit and created the Lamenters. The Flesh Tearers were a part of the original Legion split, hence these guys are old, and considering how violent they are, it's honestly a sick miracle that they're still kicking. The Flesh Tearers were originally created from the most bloodthirsty and least noble of Sanguinius' sons, pretty much the Blood Angels' 5th company. Even Sanguinius was like, bloody hell, when talking about this particular group of marines, who literally bring flaying knives into battle. Like, who the fuck does that? Their first chapter master was Nasir Amit, who has been nicknamed the Flesh Tearer due to his tendency to tear flesh, hence that is what the chapter was called.
Flesh Tearer,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Upon their founding, they were one of the chapters who viciously chased after the traitor legions and took a part in the Scouring, a galaxy-wide genocide campaign against Chaos that was so devastating that it would take Chaos thousands of years to get its shit together again. Now the Emperor, and even the Imperium to this very day, have a habit of ignoring questionable shit if the person committing said shit is super effective at killing the enemies of the Imperium. Hence the Flesh Tearers got a pass for their tendency to be so berserk that they would make the World Eaters look tame. Now over time, the Flesh Tearers really begun to highlight the difference between efficient and effective.
I'm not gonna lie, when you when you think about all the fishy stuff that goes, like, well, I guess, I don't know if you call it fishy stuff that goes on in real life, but I just thought about, I was making a callback to the Punisher, when, you know, I feel like you would know the moment I'm talking about, what he's talking about, when someone's super effective at their killing methods, you know, they kind of look the other way. If you know the moment in the Punisher that I'm talking about, I don't want to spoil it, but, you know, that moment where the little film and what they were they framed for it? Well, no, they did it, but yeah, the Punisher, Marvel's the Punisher on Netflix.
Did they kill the bad guys?
Really good.
Yes. Did they kill the good guys? Also yes. Dropping in the Flesh Tearers was like dropping in a nuke. Nobody survives. They began as a mobile crusading fleet, but eventually decided to inhabit a death world that they called Creatia. Sure, which while sounds like a soothing ointment cream, was actually the Blood Angel term for Birth of Wrath.
It's like Cretacia?
Nice. The world was full of dinosaurs and volcanoes and shit, which is pretty cool and made for some hardy recruits, as there was already a small human feral population on the planet, but with the small recruitment pool, extremely high mortality rate of monks recruits, as well as the Flesh Tearer's extremely high chance of falling to the Black Rage, the chapter has been on the brink of extinction for thousands of years, rarely ever getting close to a full chapter, rather hovering closer around the 400 Marine mark. After thousands of years of chopping off people's dicks and killing their own allies in fits of rage, the Flesh Tearers were...
He's hyping that. Do they do that? Or are we just under the assumption that they're chopping off dicks because they're called the Flesh Tearers? What, are they taking cheeks, taking faces? Like, was that what Leatherface did? Was it Leatherface took your face and then wore your face? Are they doing shit like that? They're taking limbs, arms?
universally...
Well, of course they're taking limbs, but like, they're taking specific body parts? Like, are they taking one testicle and not the other and bagging one for a trophy? Like, how fucked up
disliked, and nobody wanted to work with them or fight alongside them. Their original chapter master, Nasir Amit, had died in battle under mysterious circumstances. Combining these together, the Flesh Tearers more or less vanished from the lore for a few thousand years, and when they reappeared, they continued to piss everyone off and be an absolute nuisance. Eldar raid on a planet? Let's firebomb the forests and poison the rivers. Orc invasion? Let's counterattack them and our own guardsmen simultaneously. They'll never expect that one. At this point, the only reason why they hadn't been declared renegade or excommunicated is because the Inquisition was probably too scared to do it.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Are they like too scared to literally intervene? But right there, that's crazy. The two things he just said, like, basically, did he say like flank the enemy and our teammates at the same time? Wait, I gotta run this.
Forests and poison the rivers.
Yeah,
Orc invasion. Let's
rivers.
Counterattack them and our own guardsmen simultaneously.
Counterattack them and fucking simultaneously our allies. Nice.
Indicated is because the Inquisition was probably too scared to do it. Eventually, in the 41st millennium, their current chapter master, Gabriel Seth, took command of the Flesh Tearers. He was a raging dick, but he wasn't delusional enough to see that with their rate of falling to the Black Rage, as well as their slow recruitment, the Flesh Tearers only had a couple hundreds of years left. he decided that they would go down in honor and glory, not as rabid dogs. Hence he went to the Blood Angels to begin to repair their relationship. He also restructured the chapter in a way that meant they would try and do their best to only attack isolated enemies, meaning they should now cause way less collateral damage. Gabriel had a kind of weird attitude towards his chapter. He knew that the Flesh Tearers were a bunch of angry fuckwits that had caused a lot of dishonor towards themselves and Sanguinius, and he wanted to try and fix that. But at the same time, he liked that the Flesh Tearers were vicious, and he saw the Black Rage as something that shouldn't necessarily be feared or shunned. He was also a huge badass, and here is a great example of why. Basically, when a Blood Angel falls to the Black Rage, they're put into a group of other Black Rages called the Death Company. They're deployed as shock trooper berserkers who are sent in to wreak havoc and then die. If any survive, they are then mercy killed by the High Chaplain of the Blood Angels called Ashtaroth, who is an absolute beast. In one instance, Ashtaroth arrived at the aftermath of a battle where 5 Death Company Flesh Tearers had somehow survived, and were more or less just waiting around in a mountain of corpses.
Wait, why does he have fucking wings? Can someone explain this? What the fuck?
Ashtaroth was able to kill all 5, and then he recorded their names before burning their bodies. You know, that was his job. He didn't do it, but you can't just have a bunch of berserkers who will become even more berserk running around. Gabriel was furious. Who was Ashtaroth to pass judgment to his brothers? Hence he waltzed right into Ashtaroth's tower and begun to assault the chaplain, which was super heretical, like big no-no, but also kind of fun. Now Gabriel is a beast, but Ashtaroth is like low-key supernaturally overpowered, so despite the Flesh Terror getting some good shots in, he was getting his ass beat. Ashtaroth was like, bro, stop, you know I'm better, and Gabriel's like, I know, but every minute you are here fighting me is a minute you're not in the galaxy killing Flesh Terrors. And while Gabriel's sentiment was admirable, Ashtaroth was probably just pouring himself some tea, and hadn't made any more plans to kill more fallen Flesh Tearers at that current time. Seth then limps away, telling Ashtaroth that if he put down any more of his brothers, he would come back with an army. Hectic. Despite Seth's best efforts though, fuck that's a tongue twister, the Flesh Tearers were still a bunch of raging fuckheads who team killed. During the Third War for Armageddon, they performed a cheeky back attack on an Orc force. Guardsmen and Sister battled at the front, Flesh Tearers at the rear. The Orcs were sandwiched and massacred. As the Guardsmen were cheering, the Flesh Tearers charged into their lines and began tearing them apart. The Sisters of Battle were like, fuck this, and fled the scene to report the Flesh Tearers to the Inquisition. The Flesh Tearers were a flick of a dick away from being declared heretics, and they left the war. Dante, the leader of the Blood Angels, called Gabriel to their homeworld of Baal to stand trial for the 10,000 years of Flesh Terror fuckery. During the trial, Gabriel was grilled on all the times he and his sons did something wrong, which was a lot. Each time he basically just told the accuser to eat his dick. Eventually the judgment came. Gabriel and the Flesh Tearers were found guilty of being naughty. The Flesh Tearers were to be disbanded and reabsorbed into the other chapters, with Gabriel having to live out his days on Baal. Just as the judgment was made, Ashtaroth burst into the room and was like, guys, I know the Flesh Tearers are dicks. They're reckless, arrogant, stupid dicks. And the Inquisition are pussies. And Chaos is an asshole. Pussies don't like dicks because pussies get fucked by dicks. But dicks also fuck assholes. Assholes would just want to shit on everything. Pussies may think they can deal with assholes their own way, but the only thing that can fuck an asshole is a dick with some balls. The problem with dicks is sometimes they fuck too much, or fuck when it isn't appropriate, and it takes a pussy to show them that. But sometimes, pussies get so full of shit that they become assholes themselves, because pussies are only 1.5 inches away from assholes. I don't know much in this crazy, crazy world, but I do know if you
Stop it, bro. He couldn't even Yo, he is fucking stupid for this. Bro, he couldn't even. Oh my god.
Don't let me fuck those assholes. We're gonna have our dicks and our pussies all covered in shit. The speech was so moving that although the Flesh Tearers were found guilty, they were allowed to retain their chapter in freedom.
He can't even finish this shit, seriously.
Gabriel continued to try uphold his chapter's Gabriel continued to try uphold his chapter's honor and keep them going to the best of his ability. And then the Tyranids attacked.
I see him in tears
fuck off
right
huge
now.
high fleet beeline for Baal, and every single Blood Angel successor was called back to defend it. All answered the call. other than the Lamenters, but you know, they had other shit to worry about. The Flesh Tearers came with their final 400 battle brothers, and boy did they fight. They tore Nids to shreds with their chainswords,
cool.
hands, teeth, and own protruding bones. Each Flesh Tearer fought like a one-man army, as most of them fell to the Black Rage during the huge battle. When Dante was injured by the Swarm Lord, Gabriel took command of the defences and held the Nids back long enough for Guilliman to arrive with his Indominatus fleet and save the day. The Flesh Tearers are also saved as G-Man brought them enough Primaris to restore them back to full strength. Due to the extra stability of the Primaris gene seed, it also stabilised their chapter's tendency to fall to the Black Rage.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, Gabriel was pretty unhappy about this. He saw all Primaris as Ultramarines in different coloured armour, and was concerned that the Flesh Tearers were going to lose their rage-induced culture. He puts it more eloquently, but that's the gist of it. I remember a scene from one of the novels that was actually quite hilarious. I can't remember which novel, so if you know, then comment it below. Basically, one of the new Flesh Tearer Primaris were bitching about why they had to be put in the Flesh Tearer chapter. He then tells Gabriel that Gabriel is shorter than he expected, and that Primaris is superior, so Gabriel beats the Primaris within an inch of his life to show him who's boss. Fuck, I love Gabriel sometimes.
Damn.
Every Primarch has some seriously rogue
Assert fucking
sons.
dominance.
After all, the Space Sharks are Raven Guard's successors. For Sanguinius, it was the Flesh Tearers, and while they have scored the highest for teammates killed, you can't say they aren't effective. And that does us for today, guys. The lore and story of the Flesh Tearers.
I gotta watch something on the Space Sharks or whatever. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay.
Enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Or only
My man. Okay. Alright. Y'all heard Major Kill. That's pretty much it for the video. Well, much love and light. Oh my god. How am I even putting up with this shit? I'll see you guys. Much love. I'm out of here. Fuck. Jesus.